So I'm sharing some teachings that were inspired by JP Vaswani. He's a writer, he was a speaker, he was a very great teacher. So God is a consuming fire. When we shame the, self, it's the opposite of showing. Shaming is sort of hiding. So when we show our true self, we're actually sharing our genius, talents, also our errors, the process, the expertise. We're not hiding any of it. The process may not be beautiful at every stage. Sometimes it has to go this way in order to go this way. And errors, we might be embarrassed, but when we show our true self, that's our genius. We are helpers for the suffering, the lowly, the lonely. We serve the creative life force source that's in everyone. Looking down, like looming, dooming even, we can't see from above. But this is our fuel for transformation, because to elevate the body vessel, the woman as a transformer, receiver becomes a giver. In other words, the sperm enters the woman, but then what exits her is a baby, right? So it's really a transformation. The translucent shell, able to be clear, in terms of clear means in terms of let's say we call it humility here, from pride or from judgment to mercy, which is to be able to have love, grace, forgiveness freely shared, a flexible vessel that can thin to let the light through, or thicken, which doesn't reveal as much light. And we can remember to leave this world empty-handed, which happens anyway, but that we don't hold on. When we lose what's our own, we abandon the pride of the earth. All we have and are were freely given from when we were born. We didn't hold on to it when we were born. When we recognize the grandness, the real immensity, vastness, and our own nullifying insignificance, we can start to value ourselves through nobody other than the Creator. The little way, or when we lessen the I and the mine, where the ego is the abyss, and we start to avoid the pit of darkness, it is possible, if we didn't consider our separate self, to matter as a speck in a speck of a universe. God spoke us into existence, and speech as a faculty compared to a word is infinitely greater, plus nothing compared to the faculty of thought, which doesn't compare to the faculty of desire. And a lot of this is also inspired by the Tanya, by Hasidus, Chabad Hasidus. Perhaps everyone has one verse, which is the universe, right? Which means one word. And it could be each of us have our code. And how clear we are is how much we can transmit the code. So being a zero is to attain inside-out fulfillment. Being full of no thing, the way that we came and how we go. So in yoga meaning union, the attainment of 2 zeros is 1 infinite. In other words, the union, to unite, yoga meaning joining, like I want to show it like 1 0 and another 0. When they unite, you have infinite, right? So that's the infinity sign. It's like almost like an 8. When we give all the glory up, it's the sacrifice. Mindfulness of imminent or inevitable death. And when we see in the food blessings in Judaism, we see whether it's a vine, geffen, wheat of the earth, mizonos, the tree, pri ha'etz or pri hadama of the earth, other grains and rice, or the wheat of the earth is actually hamotzi. The other grains and rice is other grains is, some people say also rice, is mizonos, and then it's all spoken like into being, which is shahakol, for everything that we don't know. And Moshe Genuth talks about how done is the first in formation, while in the rest. So we have 3 in the south, 3 in the north, 3 in the east, and 3 in the west. Levi's in the middle. So the 3 in the north are actually the last to travel. And Dan, some say, is tied to Ethiopian Jews' lineage, but Dan was the simplest tribe. They'd return anything from whoever lost anything. And the ones who have nothing can return yourself to, your nature, your identity. Even their self-awareness they could return. There wasn't scholars or businessmen. It's like a judge can walk in your shoes. A judge who can walk in your shoes, right? Because they could be judges. And so we have the east being kind of like the true north. So when they camped, they would camp into a spiral. Like then they unraveled when they would start to go, and then it would come around when they came. So basically, they were the last in the travel, but they ended up in the first in formation while they were resting. And the banner, means nace. Each one had a banner, but it also means miracle and test. So each one had their own banner. But now I'm going to switch to a Hebrew word called Rav. And Rav has, just to do a little wordplay, like I was starting to say, about infinity before, we could say it with meaning. So Rav is harbe, which is much, enough. Rav is 200, and Beis is 2, so the numerical value is 202. Harbe means a lot. Revaya means so much. Kosi Revaya means like cup overflowing. Rabba means a lot. Rav, which is like a rabbi, is Rosh. It means someone who's overflowing. We want to have a rabbi who is like able to be that. But we also know Erev Rav. Erev Rav was the mixed multitude. So Rav could also mean multitude. It just means like so much, enough, a lot, but also has enough to share. So when we say in Judaism we have a rabbi, it means someone who has enough, their cup runs over, flows. They have enough to share. And Moshe was like the rabbi. So Aaron was like the unity of the boundaries merged. Korach was like the one that challenged him. He was like the attachment. Because when we lash out, it breaks integrity of the group. It breaks trust. It outcasts the one who's doing it. For example, I'll say myself, misaligns me from the shared values and meaning. And the woman teaches the standard of enough to her partner. This is a very deep teaching. I actually was discovering this in a class called Living Deeply. I was doing for years with a member of Roman called NilI Weisman. But anyway, Moshe was doing this like avoidance. Like, I don't want to get involved. He actually told God before he was chosen to rescue the people. He said, I don't want to be involved. Just choose my brother. My brother's so much better at this. My brother's better at talking. I'm not the right person. And then I want to share like some lyrics that seem important for this. So Dido, it's a song. It says, if my life is for rent and I don't want to buy, will I deserve nothing more than what I get? Because nothing I have is truly mine. And I'm going to read it one more time. If my life is for rent and I don't want to buy, will I deserve nothing more than what I get? Because nothing I have is truly mine. And I'll finish with a little Kabbalah. How the Creator doesn't want us. This is from the Kabbalah Center. I took their course like Kabbalah 1, 2, 3, 4. This is during 5, Kabbalah 5. So Creator doesn't want us to have less than what we're meant to have. Our vessel has to shatter when it's from I only want X to awaken even greater desire for what's really meant for us. Like, let's say, like we think of the story of Eov, or called Job sometimes. He lost 7 kids, but then he ended up having 14. Would we say the loss is a gift here somehow? Also, the golden calf will be blinding because it's shiny and then takes advantage during the blindness, as if placing an obstacle in front of a blind person or a person who's in literal darkness at the moment. It doesn't always even know that it's being worshipped, but it craves being chosen and people giving up other options and feeling unable to choose anything else and needing constant reassurance. It manipulates without even being aware of how effective and unsustainable that way is. And it uses others to project darkness because it needs to be the shinier one and the better one. So planting seeds of doubt in order to exploit vulnerably, preemptively, enslaving, and intimidating. Finally, there are supposedly 7 sins, 7 virtues. I had a talk with Etenia. So I want to just list them here. We say usually we focus on the sins. I want to talk about their corresponding virtue. So sloth. Sloth, the virtue is diligence and righteousness. Sloth, diligence and righteousness. The sin of envy is corresponding to the virtue of kindness and generosity. The sin of gluttony is corresponding to the virtue of temperance. The sin of wrath goes with patience and meekness virtues. The sin of lust goes with the virtue of chastity. The sin of greed goes with the virtue of charity, mercy. And the sin of pride goes with the virtue of humility. Finding the balance here, obviously, in all the topics mentioned. Balancing, holding on, and letting go. All right, have a good one. Bye.